How's everybody doing out there? This is our new Facebook Live webinar. We're going to be doing this weekly. And this is called The Purpose Tribe, because we're just going to talk about things that give us purpose, that make us excited about life, that are inspiring, that are conscious. And so thank you so much for coming on. And I'm still trying to figure this out to get it so I can see all your comments, because I want to make sure we do continue to interact. Okay, I think we got it. We'll just comments pop up there. So you may see us sometimes staring at over here, looking and see. Hi Connie. Hi Heather. Heather, hey, wait, aren't you coming on in a minute later? She'll be on at 1:30. So, okay, so my name is Araya Velasquez, for some of you that don't know me, that are watching.
And I'm Laura Brecken.
And this is, like I said, it's called The Purpose Tribe. So every week, Sunday at 1 o'clock, we're going to be on streaming live.
Yes. So we're going to be having some conversations between Araya and I, and then we're going to bring a guest on for the last half hour and just bring some really great conscious topics to raise our purpose and our light, and it'll be fun.
Yes.
It'll be really fun. So this is the debut. So just putting it out there. I'm gonna slowly get into this. Brian's been better with the videos than I have been, so this is pretty new to me. But we're gonna do this, and it's gonna be really fun. I'm excited.
Yeah, and this is. I mean, I've only been on some other people's Facebook Lives a few times. This is new to me too. So I think, I used to be I'm still a singer, but I used to sing more full time, and I always would have nervousness before. It doesn't matter how many years I performed, I was always a little nervous. And I think there's something wrong if you're not just a little bit nervous. It means you don't care.
Right. That's really true. Yeah.
So did you want to introduce yourself to everyone about what you do, and then maybe introduce our topic of the day?
Sure.
Okay.
So I'm Laura Brecken, and I have True to Soul Life Coaching is my business. I'm a certified professional coach and energy leadership index master practitioner, and I kind of consider myself a soul activist. My whole journey started, I had an element of spirituality in my life forever, basically since I was born. But recently had a sort of spiritual boot camp in a way, and took it to a whole new level. So my passion is really helping people discover what makes their soul sing, and then overcoming the blocks and limitations and the past programming that really keeps us from moving forward and bringing our light to the world and stepping into our purpose, which I really think is what we need to do, not only to bring a happiness and joy to ourselves, but to also really start to change the world to be a better place. Because when we are embodying our soul's purpose and our true light and love, that's going to spread to everybody else around us, and it really raises the vibration of the planet and just makes it a better place. So that's really what makes my heart sing.
Oh, I love it. It's so beautiful. So you haven't, tell everybody about your path and how, you haven't always necessarily felt like our topic of the day, which is that spirituality doesn't fit in a box. You don't have to look a certain way to be spiritual, but a lot of time, not just look a certain way, but there's certain judgments in the world about how one should function when they're spiritual. Like, this is how spiritual people are. And if you're not like that, then you're not spiritual. So we're trying to break through those judgments today. So what is your feeling about that?
Right. Yeah. When I started moving into this realm and really getting out there and going to certain events and those kinds of things, I had all sorts of judgments about others and myself, and compared myself to the people that I was seeing at these events. And maybe I'm not vegetarian, so maybe I'm not spiritual enough, or I don't dress a certain way, I'm not wearing enough beads or enough shawls or whatever. And I didn't really see myself fitting into any box. And so I sort of started questioning myself. Does that mean that I'm not spiritual? And have I not reached some sort of pinnacle point of where I need to be in order to move forward with this or really come out of my shell and say, hey, this is me, because I didn't fit in those boxes. And so it's been a journey to come to that point where I'm like, wait a minute. No, I'm not going to judge other people for how they wear or what they wear or what they eat or what they drink. If you drink kombucha, then you're spiritual. If you have a glass of wine, ooh,
Yeah.
it's like, what is spirituality? And it's, but it's the inside job.
Mm-hmm. So what has it been for you? How have you felt on the inside, like as you've been on your journey? What has it been on the inside for you? That's hard to put into words.
Wow,
It's so huge,
no
right?
kidding.
How
Yeah,
do we explain what we feel on the inside that makes us feel connected to spirit, to source, to our path?
Yeah, that's a tough one to explain. For me, and this has been getting stronger and stronger. But it's this excitement, this gosh, it's hard to explain. I get tears in my eyes.
Mm-hmm.
That has been
Totally
happening
relate.
more and more, where I will actually cry. I'm sitting in my living room and I have a thought and it feels so true, and then I just start to cry. And it's like, why am I crying? There's not really an emotion necessarily behind it. It's not sadness. It's not even necessarily joy. It's just from this place of absolute truth, if that makes sense. It's a very strange thing, and it took me a little while, but now I've come to recognize it, and now it's so comforting to me, and it tells me, oh yeah, that's so right on, because it's just that sensation. And what is it like for you? Do you have something similar?
Well, I feel like what you're describing for me is when it's like you're connected. That's what divine feels like, and that's what the energy of pure love feels like. And I actually had a spiritual teacher talk about that once, Bill Bauman, and he used to always say that the energy of pure love is a little tearful.
Really? Oh, wow.
And ever since he tuned me into that, like when I'm in session with a client or something, I'll tune into that feeling. Sometimes I will feel that teary-eyed feeling. It's not, you can have a session with a client and feel empty and feel like actually even like your own pain or something, but it's not that. It's separate than that. It is just a pure energy that's coming through that feels so rich and so deep and so profound that it's the energy of awakening and of light and of love, right?
Yes.
And that's how it feels to me.
Yeah, that's how it feels to me too. And it's just a beautiful feeling, and it lets me know that I'm on the right path. And the more that it happens, and the more that I pay attention, because at first I was just kind of blowing it off, thinking that's weird, I'm feeling emotional today. Well, with time I got to recognize, no, that's a clue. That's a clue that you're headed in the right direction, and it's become a beautiful way of recognizing that and then following that. It really helps when I'm trying to make choices, trying to decide what's right for me or what's wrong for me, that kind of thing. Gosh, but as for explaining it any more than that, I don't know that I can. It's just the more that I pay attention to my body and go within, really paying attention to my bodily sensations and what I'm feeling in my chest, what I'm feeling in my stomach, and that's where the truth comes out. And when it is that beautiful spiritual comfort and just yes, then I can feel it. But it took practice, and I'm still practicing. But it takes intention, I think, to try to really tune in. Okay, where is this coming from? How does that feel?
Yeah, and I also feel like, tell me if you feel similar, if you have an opinion. I also feel like spirituality is the more you take in that feeling that you're describing, the more that happens, that's transforming your consciousness. That is healing you. That's allowing us to be more awakened to how we want to be with others. And so then the spirituality really is how we're functioning in our life. Like, I don't know if any of you guys heard the term walk your talk.
Yes.
Like, because there's a lot of people that are like, oh, I do this. Like, maybe they do yoga, or maybe they do meditation, or, but then when you actually engage with them on a personal level, there's a lot of violent communication, or there's a lot of blame energy, things like that. So I think it's that energy that we've been talking about that does transform also the way we act in our life. So you could look a certain way, you could drink a glass of wine, you could eat meat or whatever, but if you're not kind to people, then that's what's really the important thing. That's my feeling.
Yes.
How do you feel about that?
No, that makes perfect sense, and that's so true. And that particular thing is what led to me quitting my corporate job in 2016, and taking the leap of faith, quitting, moving, leaving a relationship, because I had realized I was not walking my talk, and that in that a split moment almost, it was like, oh my gosh, I'm not going to be able to move forward spiritually and move forward in my life until I start embodying what I'm believing, what I'm reading about, what I'm saying. This is how I want to be. Until I face those fears and move forward and start walking my talk, then I'm not going to be able to get there. And so it was that real shift of starting to embody that, because then when I started making those changes with myself, then it was changing everything else around me. It's the old, once the inside changes, the outside changes as well. But it's an inside job first. And so with the spiritual part of it, it looks different for each of us. And it's always going to be unique to our own path. So there's no judgment there for how anybody else is going to be doing it. But it really starts from within. So you need to tell them about you.
Okay.
And let me hear about your path.
Okay. All right. Well, one of the reasons why I wanted to talk about this topic this week is because I have never, ever, ever fit into the stigma of what people think. I mean, maybe I do now more so now that I've been in California for like 20 years. So I'm like, got a little bit of the look,
California, I'll do it too.
But I grew up in New York City, okay? And I, even when I first met my first spiritual teacher, one of my first spiritual teachers, like one of my bigger, longer length that I studied with, Mora, I know that I came in and I was like this tough girl. I was a New Yorker, I was from Brooklyn, and but I was into the Pleiadians. I had read books and I had meditated. I had a Buddhist teacher at around 19. I had my first Buddhist teacher. But when I showed up in California, in Northern California, in Mount Shasta, that was where I ended up first moving to California, I did not look the part. And unfortunately, people do judge that way sometimes, no matter how open-minded we all think we are. People will look at you sometimes and they'll go, oh, you wear makeup. You're not all natural. Like, so, because I understand it, because as you spiritually evolve, sometimes what happens is you have natural things you start to do. You might start, your body, like you were saying, listen to your body. So you do start to choose to eat healthier. Their stigmas have been created for a reason. Sometimes we naturally fall into those things from the spiritual awakening. Right. But that doesn't mean you always will fit those stigmas. Right?
Exactly. Yeah. There are some people that type of spiritual awakening is going to take them literally to a Buddhist temple somewhere in the Himalayas.
Yeah.
And that's their path. But it's not everybody's path.
Yep. And so I've dealt with that for a long time because I love going to spiritual gatherings. I love being around community. I'm a Sagittarius. And so I would always try to go, here I am, I want to be part of this community. And then I would feel, and some of this could have been my own perception. It could have been my own wounding, from childhood, because I grew up Jehovah's Witness. I was always different. I don't practice that necessarily now, but I used to. And so I would show up and then I would just feel this kind of energy, like, people would be surprised when I would speak, what would come out. And I got my butt kicked at being the other end of it, where I went into judgment when I first met my another spiritual teacher that I brought up, Bill Bauman, because he did not necessarily look the part that I thought. Like, I think he was from like the Midwest. He was just kind of like he was like older man, and he was just button down shirt and very like just not what I would perceive, because I've had other spiritual teachers that were more in the draped clothing and everything.
Right.
And then he started talking. Even the voice didn't feel like my vibe. Like, it was like, oh, he just seems a little conservative or something. And I'm from Brooklyn, and I'm liberal, and I'm this. And we have all these judgments about ourselves. And then when he started talking, his master presence came out so big. I literally was knocked out. I couldn't move my body. He downloaded me with so much love. I was like, this man is going high. He's a teacher. So, it's...
Wow.
So one of the messages I want to put out to everybody who's watching is give everybody a chance. Don't just decide this is who they are. You see them on a video and you immediately go, oh, they've got this, or they look like this. Now, I understand we need to resonate with people. We need to feel like, okay, so that's my vibe, that's my tribe, Purpose Tribe. That's why we need to show that. But even go beyond that, because that might be part of your awakening, learning to be inclusive. In my Pleiadian tradition, we talk about unity and diversity. That was one of the virtues we like. Mm-hmm. And it's just being able to be one while all being diverse.
I love that. I love that. That's fantastic. Yeah. That idea of, I think the discernment comes in there as well. And being able to discern what's right and what fits and what resonates without the judgment piece of it, because they're two very different energies. I think which is great.
Yeah, then that's probably hard to discern sometimes.
It is.
How do you discern? What you resonate with, what's versus are you just becoming judgmental?
Right. And then I would say it go into the body. What is your body telling you? Is there a fear energy behind that? Mm-hmm. Really, where is that sense coming from?
Mm-hmm. Oh, let's switch to folks for a second. We've got some comments here. Oh. Hi, Susan Kelber. Hello, Lightworker. Susan's also a hairdresser. I can't wait for you to meet our guest coming on in 8 minutes. Heather, who's also a fellow hairdresser. More than a hairdresser. I can't put her in a box. She's so much more. You're going to learn about her. And then, is this your friend, Kimberly Riley Keller?
Hi, Kimberly.
Oh, is that Heather's friend?
Oh.
Awesome. Hi, Kimberly. And then Barbara, my mother-in-law. Thank you for being on. This is so fun. This is so fun.
Yeah, great.
Somebody else is commenting. I'm going to scroll down. We're getting, if I actually have to scroll, this is so cool. Okay.
Okay, great. So, so we've got a few minutes before.
So how else has this impacted your life? Feeling like you didn't fit? You said sometimes you go to gatherings and stuff like that.
Yeah, to some extent, I found myself actually not going to some things that I think I would have liked to go to, but stopped myself just because I felt like I didn't belong. Or other things, I would walk into a room and, wow, I don't know that I fit in here. And then it was more than recognizing that and saying, okay, well, what is it about me? Why am I feeling uncomfortable here? What judgments am I having against myself? And sort of working through it in a way. But it has helped me that. And so I've had to come to terms with just being okay being myself, which is why I called my business True to Soul, and that has been my whole journey, is being okay to be authentic authentically me, no matter where I am or what I am doing, not worrying about what other people are thinking or feeling, and really just embodying my authenticity to the greatest extent possible.
That's a good point, because as you go down the rabbit hole, it's like, are you really creating a situation where people are in judgment because it's what is inside in the first place? Exactly. Or is it just, we're in a world co-creating, and sometimes you're going to have people come in, and it actually is happening. It's not just something you created.
Right. It's hard to tell sometimes.
Yeah.
It's down the rabbit hole for sure.
Well, I also learned this lesson. I had a Taoist teacher who would share about his teachers, and he would say that all his teachers ate the most unhealthy food, and they were Chinese, and he said they just had no judgment on anything. They had cultivated their life force energy to a point where whatever they ate, they transmuted.
Oh, really?
So, like, that's a whole other thing. Like,
do I learn how to do that?
Oh, yeah. Well, we could do a show one day on the spiritual practices that he taught that are very simple, that create this magnetic life force in your body that allow you to transmute whatever things you're doing on the earth plane. So that goes to a whole other place. And those teachers were at the point where they couldn't care less about what anybody thought. Like, they knew
it wasn't even a thought.
Yeah, they knew. And so I feel like part of this, even me doing this, at least on my reasoning, is not only to share with people and to help more people, but it's also on my own journey. What I get out of it is also to just be like, here I am, this is me, this is what I have to offer, and whoever is supposed to be connected with me, that's great, and not worry about, at all what anybody, if they don't like it or they like it, or, and go more into neutrality. That's part of, like, my spiritual evolutionary journey too.
I think that is my natural next step as well, because I kind of was, after we practiced yesterday, I freaked out a little bit because I've kept my personal page and my business page separate. I mean, I'll put some of my stuff on my personal page, but overall I don't. And so to put it out there with friends and family and people who really haven't seen this side to this extent of me, I had a moment last night. It was like, wow, this is really happening. But at the same time, there's something so true and so beautiful about it. It's like, oh yeah, I totally know I need to do this. And freeing. Oh my gosh. Yeah. Right. It's just coming out of that closet, and it's just one
spiritual closet.
It really is. I mean, for me, in even just in the last 2 years, because when I was in my corporate job, I mean, nobody knew any of this, and I didn't have one person that I could talk to about spiritual things. And so it's been a very crash course, very quick, pushing me, like, this is where you need to be. So this is so good, and it's just one more authenticity, one more being true to soul, and I love
authenticity. That's the inside job,
yes,
right?
It is. Yes, it is.
Yep. Well, I just realized one thing. We're almost ready to have Heather on. I forgot to introduce myself, because there's people on here that are from her community that don't know who I am, or why I'm sitting here with her. So I'll just briefly share. I'm a psychotherapist, but metaphysical energy healer too. So I combine both of them. I've been doing it for 18 years. I started with that teacher that I talked to you guys about in the show, Mark Wanyan in Mount Shasta. And ever since then, I had other teachers that just kept helping me grow and grow and grow. And now I have a private practice here in Southern California. So, and what's your website?
She's extremely talented.
Thank you.
My website is larabrecken.com.
Okay, and then mine is blissfullifecounseling.info. So, hey, if anybody needs some healing, you guys know who we are now.
That's right.
So I'd like to, do you feel ready to bring?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, I'd like to welcome our guest of honor today, Heather Cleves. And would you mind if I share with them a little bit about while you're here, about what it was like, just a teeny bit of my experience of being with you? Yeah. Okay. This is Heather, everybody. Thank you so much for coming on.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm really happy to be here in my spot.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. We are live in Heather's this is for Sanctuary. We're live in here. This is a beautiful space. We had to tear it apart to be able to get the camera right, but this is a gorgeous space. So thank you so much for
Yeah.
letting us be
Yeah.
here.
And I just want to say a quick thank you to everybody that's signed on today, took a minute out of your day. I was sitting over here and I'm actually a little emotional, so give me a second. Someone who's on today, I don't know who you are, but I thank you for stepping outside of your comfort zone and coming on to this and knowing that somewhere in your heart you needed to be in this message today. So I hope you're blessed. I hope you're touched. I hope you get from this what you need to either make it through today, make it through this minute, this hour, or whatever it is that you're going through. I'm happy you're here. We're happy you're here. And thank you. So I just needed to
See,
take
this
a
is
minute.
why I love this lady. This is why I mean, this is who she is
I'm
all
like
the
shaking. I
time.
don't know what it is.
Because it's, well, that's what I was going to tell them, that when I went, you know, I wanted to get my hair done, and I had a vibe, like I read the profile, I feel the energy, and I was like, she calls her practice the Heather Experience. So I'm like, okay, this is an experience. This isn't, I already knew, this isn't going to be just me going to get my hair done. And so when I went in, I remember, like probably the second, well, both times were phenomenal. The second time I visited Heather, within 5 minutes, she had to bring tissues. I was crying within 5 minutes of entering the door, sitting down, and just talking to her. She has a way of opening your heart and tuning into you, and then going laser beam into your heart and just allowing you to heal. That was within 5 minutes of being in your
You're like, I don't know what's happening.
I said that to you, right? I was like, I'm really sorry. I don't know why I'm crying. She's like, it's the space. It's the space.
Well, no, remember?
This space.
Yeah,
Yes.
I first of all, you apologized, and I think that's a real natural reaction, right, for us when we're feeling emotion for some reason, or we're going through something, and we're putting that on somebody, right? We have this natural reaction to say, I'm so sorry.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just going to jump into it. I remember I was listening to someone speak one time, and she said something that really resonated with me. And I brought it into this practice because I thought it was so poignant. And she said, you know, we as human beings are afraid to sit with people in their pain. We're afraid to sit with them. We want to fix it. We want to heal you. We want to give you some enlightened thing to change your perception of your situation so that you get better, fast, quick. And so you're happier right now instead of sad like you're feeling. And what I got from that was like, that's what I was doing. You know, people would come in and I wanted to help them. I wanted to heal them. I wanted everyone to be happy. The reality is that 100% happiness all the time isn't authentic, which is what you guys have been talking about, this authenticity. People don't relate with that. People don't relate with, hi, I'm Heather. Everything in my life is perfect. And I'm going to do your hair today and tell you how you can be perfect. I ran my business like that for a long time, to be honest with you guys, a long time. And I felt like I connected, but it wasn't until I stepped back and I started sharing my own authenticity that I was able to all of a sudden understand the pain, sit with each other in the pain, not try to fix it, but acknowledge it. Live there for a minute, you know? Like, we're so busy trying to get enlightened and move to that next level. Get more spiritual, get better, get happier, be filled with more joy. Take a minute to just visit. You know, you visit that pain for a minute. Live there, you acknowledge it. I feel this right now. I feel pain, I feel sadness, I feel angry, I feel upset. Once you acknowledge it, the freedom in that, that's authenticity. When you acknowledge it, all of a sudden it's like, boom, you broke a chain right there. And now we can move. Now we can push forward. And so I started understanding that when people sat in my chair, they were coming for a greater purpose. And I'm passionate about that hair. I love the creation. I love art and music and painting and hair and
She
I
did
love,
that.
I love
She
all of
did
that. But what I love is that human connection. Am I right?
Yeah,
When you
absolutely.
can look at someone and say, I see you. I don't just see you, but I feel you. When you sat there and you cried, I felt you. And we just started intertwining, right?
Mhm.
And developing this dance, if you will.
Mhm.
And I think that everybody just wants someone to dance with,
Mhm.
you know,
Mhm.
that can have the synchronicity of understanding that we're all going through something and we can all figure it out together if we are just authentic, right?
Yes, yes.
Okay, bye.
So-
I can ramble.
No, it's not a ramble.
It's not a
It's your
ramble.
master presence. That's what I feel. It's your master presence that comes through, your higher self that comes through when you're with people. And it is so relieving to finally not have to hide.
Yeah.
You know, especially when it's somebody new, like maybe it's a new client and they don't know you that well, but right away I felt that Heather was able to set the premise that I don't have to hide.
Oh,
baby.
baby girl.
What do you think? What do you think?
Yeah, that's amazing. So tell me what went on when you sat down there in the very beginning.
Oh yeah, you're shaking.
Yeah. So I was sitting off camera and you guys were talking and I closed my eyes. And what happens with me and like my process is that I've taken a step forward in my life where I know what I sound like. Okay? Bear with me here. I know what I sound like when I'm told not to do something. Don't do that. Okay, I hear you, girl. I hear you. You know, you need to go there. Okay, I'm moving. You know, you need to embrace that person. All right, they're in my arms. You need to walk away from that person. All right, I'm stepping. So I'm sitting there and I just get overwhelmed. Like I feel warm. I feel like a little glow. It's not just the highlight.
Beautiful highlighter, by the way. I got mine on.
Becca Cosmetics.
Yes.
But I start to feel warm and I start to have my heart race. What happens? Sure. What happens is I start to realize that something needs to be said. Then, and I think you both can relate to this, then you start getting in your own head. Like, well, I could say this. I could say that.
Mm-hmm.
This would probably sound, you know, like really good. and then it's like, no. You know the voice. What needs to be said? What is the message? Who is listening? Come to me, talk to me, press upon my heart. And so I don't know who you are. I don't know your name. I don't know. But you're on my heart and you start pressing there. And so I start to feel it. And it's like there's an urgency. That's what I feel.
Okay.
It's an urgency. It's like when you sat down with me and I'm like, I think when it started, it was going to mix your color. And I wish I could stand up and show you. But she's like talking to me, she's crying. And I'm like, what I'm seeing is.
Yes, I remember what I was talking about.
Mhm.
I remember what I was talking about. I was saying that I felt like I had missed an opportunity and then I'm starting over now and that it was regret a little bit. Like if I had only
That's
just
right.
continued at that point.
And what did you remember what I said? I gave you a word.
Yeah, or timing. We were talking about timing.
I said it wasn't your time.
Yeah.
I said it wasn't your time because she was going through this kind of bit of regret, like if it had happened then, things would be different. If I had just done this, and this, it would have been different. And I stopped her, and you know, you never know how people are going to do it. I'm like, stop. And she yielded. You yielded. Yeah. I think you felt that. And I said, stop. I said, it wasn't your time. It wasn't your time. And it was like, if, and I was trying to explain to you, I remember this vision, and this has been on my heart for a while for I think a lot of people, is I'm getting this vision of like this mountain, you know, we're all wanting this exponential happiness, you know? We all want to just feel good. And we want to feel like we're living each day with purpose, authenticity, and love and joy, and that we matter, that we're making a difference, that we're fulfilling our purpose. And sometimes life steps in. And you're like, could you be a bigger speed bump right now? Because I got somewhere to,
I had a plan.
I got somewhere to go. I got somewhere to go. And so, but what I try to help, and I think I share this with you as well, is this vision is this mountain, you know, we're going, and there are going to be peaks and there are going to be valleys. And then there's going to be moments where you rise and you see the sun, and you're like, okay, you know what? I'm going to keep going. Because no one ever wrote the book in life and said, you know what, chapter 1, this is going to be easy.
Yeah,
Right? But what we tend to forget is that the end of a matter can typically be a lot better than its beginning, but it's really hard to see through that space. And so what I reminded you was what's all over the mountaintop, you can't even see, but that's the destiny. That's the purpose. That's the life-changing shit.
Nope, it's fine.
That's the life-changing shit.
Remember, you can be however you want. Be spiritual.
that you need to
say that word.
That you need to get to. But you can't see over the mountain because you're still over here. But you gotta know. You gotta know. And when you know, then you move. Right?
Yes.
Then you push forward. But it's when you live in that kind of like, I don't know, you know, that kind of, look, in California, we've got this beautiful thing called the ocean, right? People go there all the time. I mean, we're talking lots of people go there in June, July, but us crazy people that live here, we go there on like Christmas Day, you know, because it's not, you know, we go there all the time. Why do we go to the ocean? I'm going to tell you why we go to the ocean. Because it moves. People don't realize how polluted our oceans are, but yet we're still going there because they're beautiful. It's beautiful. Why is it beautiful? Because there's movement. There's movement. You know where people don't hang out? Lagoons. You know why? Because they smell. They're stagnant. And what do you know what stagnant water smells like? It smells disgusting.
Yeah.
So people don't hang out there. We hang out. The ocean has way more shit in it than a lagoon.
Yeah.
Like way more. But yet, for some reason, we feel good. Why? Because it moves. So I encourage you, and I encourage people when they come in here, like whatever it is, you know, and to go back to that first point, like, yeah, visit that spot for a minute. My God, keep moving. You know? Yeah.
Yeah, that's why I had to move down to Southern California, because that ocean energy is so healing.
It
It's so
is.
powerful,
Yeah.
and I have to be near it. I just have to.
Yeah.
Right. Because it's very similar to growth, right? When we're stagnant, when we're not doing anything, when we're not fulfilling our purpose, when we're not touching lives, when we're not helping, we smell. Like it's literally smell. Like you're like, what is that smell? Oh, it's me being lazy. It's me not living in my purpose. Oh, that's right. You know. I think when you tap into that more, you start to be more uncomfortable, right? When you're not moving.
Well, that's one of my favorite visuals is of going with the flow and riding the waves of life, because using the ocean again, and there are times it's very calm, it's like glass. There are other times where it kills people because it flips you over, it pulls you under the undertow, and then the next day it's going to be nice and calm. And so for me, I use that as a visualization all the time.
Yeah.
That's just life. It's just how it is. And so you just grab your board and you do the best you can.
Yeah, absolutely. And when you do the best you can, with the belief that you are capable. You know, there's so many moments, you know, where we can get down on ourselves, where it feels like it's just all too much. But when you remember that you're capable, like I can do this, like that whole thing, like you woke up today, your heart's beating, you know, like that's one thing, you know, you're capable of taking one step. And guess what? If you're capable of taking one step, you can take two, whatever it is, you know. But yeah, you are capable of getting out there and moving and living in this purpose and this destiny for your life. But you've got to remember that it's okay, right?
Yes, absolutely.
To not be in lights all the time.
Yeah.
Right?
Sure.
That there is purpose in the shit.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yes,
Right? Like, have you ever tasted like something that tasted really gross? Like really, like you took a bite and you're like, that's not for me. You know? And you wouldn't necessarily know how disgusting that tasted, right? Unless you had tasted like, I don't know, like the sweetest thing on your lips that you had ever tasted before, and you know how good it tastes. You wouldn't know, right? How crappy that tasted had you not tasted that sweet, and vice versa. So it's like this
that
ebb and flow.
contrast. You have to have that contrast in
Absolutely.
order to know that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You gotta have highlights and lowlights.
That's right.
Yep.
That's
And I
right.
want to kind of go back to something you said. You talked about how it's, I know we got to do the comments too. You talked about how it's sometimes it's hard in the beginning, and then but you can't see that the end is going to be so much better. So it's like that perseverance in between. That's the good stuff. Having to just kind of move through that middle part.
Yeah.
The middle part is where a lot of people give up. But if you keep going, you're going to get to the jewel.
Yeah.
So, but let's go over there's some people commenting.
I have a friend of mine, and in the military they use the word push, and they say it with each other, and it really stuck with me because that's that middle, like push. Think of yourself like in that moment, like, and I'll sometimes like, and now I'll use that word because I think it like blew my mind. A simple word, right? But I was like, that's my word now. But like, think of that. Like sometimes I will say it out loud. If there were cameras in my house, people would think I was crazy. Because same, right? Because I will literally, like, if I'm having a tough time, like, the best thing you can do, honestly, get out of your head. Our brains are filled with so much noise. So if you just get it out, sometimes I'll get it out by way of a painting. Sometimes I'll get it out by way of sitting at my piano. But you gotta get it out. It's like your old dentist used to say, like if you don't floss, like if you can't wait a steak, I talked to a bunch of kids one time and I was trying to teach them about resentment. And I was like, bless my 21-year-old heart. Right? I was like, resentment, it's like a piece of steak in your tooth. And they're like,
What
you're
are you
a wacko.
talking
I was like, no, like your dentist tells you to floss. You know why you gotta floss? Because if you leave that in your heart, your tooth, it will decay and you'll lose the tooth. Like get it out. Get it out. And like, I'd always feel like the dentist was like, how often are you flossing? And I was like, 10 times before I came here today. But that doesn't work. It's gotta be consistent. Get it out by any way necessary that you have to get it out of this and get it out. And sometimes that is acting like a crazy person at your house and just saying, okay, I gotta push right now. Like scream, yell. I gotta draw, I gotta write, I gotta scream. Laugh. Okay. I love it. Get that steak out of your tooth.
Get it. So we've got a lot of people commenting on you. Joanne Jackson says you're doing so dang gorgeous inside and out. And thanks, baby. That it's a lie that life is easy.
Yeah.
And Susan says she's literally flossing.
She is so funny. By the way,
That's
Susan,
hilarious.
I knew it would be a connection. I love Susan. Liz Beach Halen says, love your life and your space, not someone else's. Always be you.
Yes, baby girl.
Beautiful.
Love you, Liz.
Beautiful, beautiful. Thank you so much, everybody that's on today, watching, for all who will ever watch this. Yes. Oh, love it. Bianca Reyes.
Aw, love you too, baby.
Totally. Susan, when are you coming down here? We gotta have you on the Facebook Live.
So good. I think honestly, I'm so happy you guys are here in this space because I think it's important when you invite people into your space, whether it's you invite someone out like a girlfriend for coffee, or you meet up with someone at their house, or you invite someone into that space of yours. Have intention. What is your intention? What is your intention walking out of your door today? Pick one thing. It as simple could be, today I want to smile at one person. Because all we want to do is accomplish something, have a goal, set it, achieve it, and that's what keeps us moving. And so at the end of the day, when you walk into my space and you start crying, my intention for that day was for that anybody that I had the honor of getting to be in the presence of, for them to feel safe, for them to feel secure, and for them to be able to feel unabandoned. So, what is your intention? It could be like, what my intention today is? All I'm going to do is I'm going to eat a carrot. That's all I can do today, because I need to get one piece of vegetable in my body. Like, it doesn't have to be some insane thing. Like, start somewhere.
A bowl of tahini and brown rice.
Yes, babe.
It doesn't have to be that. It could just be a carrot.
Look, whenever anything is getting built, what do we build first? We build the foundation first, So if you're not building the foundation for your day, we can't expect greatness out of our day. You know what I'm saying? So, coming into my space as a hairdresser, that's what it is for me. The intention is always to do great hair. I've been doing this for 20 years. That is a given in my day, to make people feel beautiful when they walk out of this room, be like wanting to take their picture, and they go home to their baby boy and they're like, let's make a baby, or whatever. And then that's like number one, that's number two, because number one is to connect,
What a gift. What a gift. I think we're really lacking with that connection these days. People are in such a rush and they're so hurried, and we're not seeing each other anymore.
Such a good point.
And that, when you were saying earlier, you're talking about just seeing what was going on, and that alone is huge.
Oh my God. Like, to look, gotta love our phones. They allow us to do so much. But look up. Look. If you can't tell me the color, of someone's eyes that you just met, people used to say that all the time, like, oh, your eyes are great, I guarantee you, 75% of this world doesn't know people's eye color anymore, Like, we've got to see each other, because when we see each other, we connect. And when you connect with people, that energy is so sacred, so sacred that I feel like, because it's been so lost, when you feel it, talk about moving mountains, it'll blow your mind. It'll blow your mind. And sometimes this is it. This is it. This is what I have. It's not always about, another person. Look in the mirror, Look in the mirror. Look into your own eyes. And connect with you, Connect with your eyes. Connect with your voice. Connect with your heart. Because, everybody can be looking for someone that's going to change their life, or that's going to give them this special word that is going to, help get them to the next level. But what I think a lot of us don't know is that it's you. It's you. So spend some time. Spend some time. Look at yourself in the mirror. Look into your eyes. Tell me what color your eyes are. Tell me, what's behind them. Tell me what makes them sad. Tell me what makes them hurt. Tell me what makes them cry with joy. Start answering those questions about yourself, because when you connect with you, the connections that you can have with anyone that comes after you will blow your fucking mind. It really will.
Yeah.
Beautiful, beautiful, inspirational words. And Deborah Moyer says, love that about keeping intention simple and being grateful for what's already around you.
Yeah.
Cheryl Hogue says, my intention every day is to enjoy the randomness of my day, my life. I am surprised every day.
Cheryl, I love that.
I was just talking about that intention is so powerful, and that like it's the little things that life becomes serendipitous when you start to really pay attention to every little thing that happens. That little thing could really be a life-changing thing because you pay attention, which has been the case for me in terms of like any of my awakenings. I shared a story before on one of my videos about that I had an awakening just by seeing a piece of paper on the ground that led me to my spiritual teacher. I was walking down the street in Brooklyn, and it was like a little ripped up, dirty piece of paper on the ground that I picked up, and it said voice lessons with this lady, Maria Fonzo from Bahama. And so, little did I know, she was going to actually become my new spiritual teacher.
Yeah.
But had I just decided that little piece of paper was, just that's garbage.
Yeah, right.
But it was a life altering experience.
Because you were going about your day, right? With awareness, right? With your eyes open. Yeah. I remember driving down the 78 freeway one day, and I left my house that morning with a fury in my heart. Like something would give me a sign today. I was going to be speaking to a group of people, and I was like, oh, I'm going to get it today. It's like, bring it on. I had my music going. I was like, come on, universe. I was driving on the freeway, and off to my right, I'll never forget it, there was a billboard, and it was an advertisement for this apartment complex, and it said, if you lived here, you would already be home. Okay? Now, let that resonate for a second, because what should home be? It should be a sacred sanctuary, a place where when you walk in the door, you take a breath, because you know in that space you are loved, you are celebrated, you are secure, you are safe, you are beautiful, you are, And so it spoke to me, because it's like, all right, if you lived here, you'd already be home. Where should I be living, right? Exactly. We should be living in that awareness all the time, because then we begin to walk through life. Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I love that.
Piece of paper on the ground.
Yeah.
Intention. Start looking for the story. Look for the meaning. Think outside of the busyness and the hustle of the adult life. Find the wonder. Find the piece of paper. Find the billboard. Love it. Yeah.
So how can people find you? If people want to have the experience with you, what, a website, like what's...
You will find me. You can, honestly, I'm on Instagram, the Heather Hair. And look, my phone is open. I gave a lady at Michael's my phone number the other day. She was like so confused in the paint aisle. I was like, here's my number. She's like, I can text you? Yes. Let's talk. Let's talk. Plus, she was 80 years old and wanted to paint. Anyway, text me, 760-420-4777. You can text me. Hit me up. Yeah, 477. That was back in the day where AirTouch let you pick your phone number.
Oh.
That's my business line. You can text me. You can come see me. You can hang out with me. You can come share with me your story, and I'll share with you mine, and we'll be authentic together and try to find some purpose in this world. I think we all have it.
Thank you so much for doing this with us today.
Yeah.
Thank you, my co-host. And, so we will be on again next Sunday, and the guest is a surprise. We'll find out who
It's not going to be me. I'll miss you guys terribly.
Thank you, everyone, for coming on.
Thank you so
And have a beautiful Sunday. Have a wonderful social Sunday.
Look for your billboard. Look for,
That's right.
look for your billboard. Look for your piece of paper. Go out today with intention. You'll find it. I promise you.
Bye, guys. Thanks for coming.
How cute you are.